It's a happy new year, and I'm super grateful that you've crossed over into 2026 with me. All thanks to God. Wherever you're watching from, whether you're at home, you're at work, you're traveling, or simply having a moment for yourself, I'm sending you warmth, joy, and a heartfelt welcome into this new chapter. Welcome to the year 2026. You see, there is something powerful about arriving at a new year. Not because everything happens suddenly, but because we become more aware of ourselves, our hopes, our tired places, our quiet longings, and that part of us that is ready for growth. Today, I'm inviting you into what I call the quiet reset. This is not about pressure. It's not about performance or rushing to reinvent yourself. January doesn't demand that from us. Rather, it offers a gentle doorway, a moment to breathe, to listen, and to reinvent. So wherever you're settling in, let's begin this new chapter with softness, with clarity, and with courage. My name is Shola, and I welcome you into this quiet reset on the tide. In this month's edition of the Tide, we are looking at the topic, the quiet reset, becoming, releasing, and aligning. We are going to explore these three movements, becoming, releasing, and aligning, and we'll take a look at what the past year has asked of you, what you may need to lay down, and what is quietly emerging within you. Let's take a look at the sacred work of becoming. Let me begin with this quote by Omoshola that says that becoming is the courage to grow in the dark before anyone sees the light. Becoming itself is not loud. It's not glamorous. It's not a version of growth that the world applauds. For example, let's consider a first class graduate. People see the certificate, they see the distinction, they see the final moments where the light shines so brightly. But what they do not see is the night when sleep was sacrificed for an assignment to be completed. They do not see the quiet tears shed over a chapter that doesn't make sense. They do not see the early mornings spent. They do not see the moments of doubt, the internal battles, the silent prayers, whispers between deadlines. They do not see the resilience demonstrated even when motivation ran dry. Becoming is the hidden work, the work that happens in the dark, in places where no one is clapping yet. It is the courage to evolve before there is evidence. It is the courage to trust the seed before the sprout. It is the courage to trust the whisper even before the world hears the song. In every season of life, I've come to realize that there is a part of us that is growing quietly, a part that is stretching, that is healing, that is learning, that is shedding, that is awakening. And January, with all the fresh air and its new beginnings, it's inviting you, it's inviting me and you to embrace this inner work without pressure. It's time for us to now talk about the release, where you make room for something new, new beginnings, new ambitions, new goals, new friendships, everything new. You know, we've talked about the becoming, and it is pertinent to remember that before anything becomes, something must definitely be released. Now, the release on its own, the release itself is not failure, it's not loss. It is the emotional clearing for something that is emerging within you to breathe. For example, someone suddenly realizes that they've carried the weight of unrealistic expectation, and they begin to release the pressure to compare themselves with others online, carrying the weight of everybody's needs at the expense of their home, at the expense of their own cost. They suddenly realizes that they've been in a friendship or in a relationship that is so draining, and they begin to release the pressure of wanting to conform into a particular, what they have actually defined for themselves. They've suddenly realizes that they need to release the pressure of setting a time that, okay, I have to complete so tasks before January, putting unnecessary pressure on themselves. Now it is time for you to release that thing you have been holding onto for so long and that is no longer serving you. It could be grief long overdue. It's time for you to release that grief. Let it go so that something new can emerge, something beautiful can emerge out of you. Take time to think, to ponder about those things that you have, the things you have carried the weight for so long, for too long. Sometimes we hold on to old stories, old expectations, and old versions of ourselves because they feel so familiar. But you know what? Familiarity is not the same as alignment. So this year is gently asking us, what is it that you are still carrying that no longer carries you? Release is the tide going out, and becoming is the tide coming in. So when you release what no longer serves you, the pressure, the perfectionism, the old identity, you are simply creating a room for the quiet courage of becoming to take its roots in your life in this new year. Having talked about the becoming and the releasing, now let's dive into alignment. But before then, kindly subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so, and please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share among your friends, your families, and tell someone to join us. The Tides is a monthly edition, and soon we are also launching our YouTube live sessions where you will have the opportunity to join us live. We have an interactive session and it is called Echoes from the Tides. We are going to be giving us information about when we are going to be doing this. It's going to be every Wednesday, a Wednesday in a month, not every Wednesday. It's going to be once in a month, but on a Wednesday. So we're going to communicate which Wednesday it is going to be and the time we're going to go live so that you can participate, you can join us, and let's rub minds together and learn from the tables of elders. It's called Echoes from the Tides. Okay, now let's dive into alignment. Alignment is where the becoming and the release, it is where they meet. It is the moment you start to choose what is really important in your life. It is the moment you start choosing your values, you start choosing your emotional health, you start choosing yourself over any other thing. For example, someone who realized that they stay more peaceful when they start their day slowly, and they begin to wake up like 10 to 15 minutes before their usual time, just to pause, to breathe, to pray, to sit in silence. It is not because it's trending, but just because they feel like, oh, this aligns with my emotional well-being. The same way you begin to choose relationship that nourishes you, you begin to choose work that doesn't only align with your skills alone, but you choose work that aligns with your values and not your skills. This is the moment you start realizing that you have to be intentional about your choices, about what you do, about who you talk to. This is the time you start maintaining, you start having boundaries, setting boundaries about your time. You don't just spend your time with anybody. You don't just give yourself hours talking, what is not meaningful on the phone with people. So this is alignment. And I've come to realize that at a certain time in one's life, you will get to a season of your life where you will have been able to say, okay, this is my values, this is me, this is what I think works for me. And you begin to choose your skills, you begin to choose your everyday activities so that it aligns with the values that you have been able to select for yourself over the years. If you are watching this right now and you are in a state whereby you feel like, how do I start? First, don't forget what we said about releasing. Before you become, you have to release something. That means you need to let go of some old habit or something that no longer serves you. And don't forget, alignment is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's about the gentle decision to build a year that supports your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual health. The quiet reset is not a dramatic transformation, it is a faithful one. It is the moment you say, I release what no longer serves me. Anything that no longer serves me in this year, 2026, I release it. This is how you enter in a new year with intention. This is how you build a life that holds you. This is how you go in the dark before your light is ready to be seen. You see, your becoming is very valid. Your release is necessary. And your alignment is sacred. So ensure you continue to go quietly until the light is ready to reveal what the dark has been nourishing all along. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for joining us on the January edition of the Tides 2026. Keep rising above the tides, and I remain your host, Omoshula. I'll see you again in our next edition of the Tides.